Brexit deal and what does that mean for our future? Then we are joined by the first of our correspondents. Can I welcome Ashley Espiritu? Hello, Ashley.
Hello, Giancarlo. Thank you for having me. The year 2020 has not been kind to many of us. And so today I will be reviewing the coronavirus pandemic here in the United Kingdom from the first case in January up to the present.
Hey, thank you so much, Ashley. Then we are joined by Christine Benedicto. Hello, Christine. What will you be reporting for us today?
Hello, Giancarlo. Thank you for having me. I'll be reporting on what's happened in Europe in 2020.
Thank you. Then the next correspondent we have joining us is Vanessa Gowert. Hello, Vanessa. How are you? What will you be reporting for us today?
I will be reporting about the vaccinations here in Europe.
Thank you so much. Then we are also joined from EBC Italy. We have a report from Jasmine Jamora. Hello, Jasmine.
Hello, Giancarlo. Thank you. I'll be reporting about the lifestyle here in Europe.
Thank you so much. And from our EBC Bureau in Belgium, we have Kate Revivis. Hello, Kate.
Hi, Giancarlo. Thank you for having me. We will be reporting on the 2020 recap of the views from our windows.
Okay, thank you so much. And then going back to the United Kingdom, lastly will be joined by Love Ann Season. Hello, Love Ann.
Hi, Giancarlo. So in this special edition of our program, I will be talking about our crew, who we are, and what we contribute, and what our viewers will expect in the new year.
Okay, we look forward to that. Thank you, Love Ann. Then we will end today's special edition show with our New Year greetings from the whole of the EBC United Kingdom and Europe Bureau. But first, we go to our first topic, and that is the UK and Europe reaching finally the Brexit deal and what this means for our future. So just before this turbulent year of 2020 came to an end, one of the major talking points and stories that had dragged on throughout the year finally reached its conclusion. Of course, I'm talking about the Brexit negotiations. With the deadline of December 31st, 2020, talks began early in the year, but were put on hold after the unprecedented events of the COVID pandemic. It was not till later in the spring when talks restarted in earnest. Reports that the two sides were far from an agreement continued into the summer, with news that the fishing rights to English waters were a major sticking point. But as we neared the end of the year-end deadline, news broke just before the holiday season that a deal had finally been reached. With much relief from most in Europe and the United Kingdom, as well as a few skeptics, what does the Brexit deal mean and what changes will we see in 2021? Firstly, the last-minute deal allows for the United Kingdom and Europe to continue trading freely without any tariffs or quotas, which is good news for businesses and the economy. In terms of travel, Britons and Europeans can travel freely across the UK and Europe without the need of a visa for up to 6 months in a year, or a maximum of 90 days within a 180-day period. But when it comes to 2022, there will be a visa waiver scheme needed to visit certain countries in the European Union. The costs of goods in our stores should not be affected. As stated, businesses will not have to pay any extra customs or charges for importing and exporting goods. But one issue may be a shortage of supply at the beginning of the year, as new tests and rules will be implemented on goods traveling to and from Europe. In the finance sector, the value of the pound has risen even before the Brexit deal was completed, and the Bank of England stated that the pound would be stronger now that a deal is in place. One major change will be in the business sector, where the UK residents will find it much harder to move to Europe and start their own businesses than it was previously, with only short-term business trips allowed, and many qualifications that are issued here in the United Kingdom now not being automatically recognized there in the European Union anymore. Here we have the director of the UK in a Changing Europe, Anand Menon, with his analysis of the deal. Let's listen in.
Obviously, it means there is a deal and not no deal. And I think no deal would have been damaging, not just economically, where we'd have had tariffs and quotas to deal with, but also I think politically, if the talks had broken up, there would have been a lot of ill will between the UK and the EU. That would have made it very, very hard for the two sides to collaborate. And it was interesting today, wasn't it? President von der Leyen said we have a basis for collaboration when it comes to climate and a whole host of other issues. That basis would not have been there without a deal. But, and this is the big but, the deal does not mean things continue as they are. It will mean a huge number of changes for how we interact with and particularly how we trade with the European Union. And the fact of the matter is, this trade deal makes trade harder. Trade will become slower and more expensive between the UK and the EU, and that in turn will have economic implications.
This Brexit deal will still be a major talking point going forward into the new year, as no one knows for certain how this new deal will pan out for both parties. Okay, we go to our first correspondent joining us. We have Ashley Spirito on the line. Hello, Ashley. You'll be bringing us the overview of how the coronavirus pandemic has affected us here in the United Kingdom. Is that right, Ashley?
Yes, Giancarlo, thank you. As with anyone else in the world, people had high hopes and big things for the year 2020. However, not even a month into the year, news had already gone around about the coronavirus disease, or COVID-19, stepping foot into the UK. The outbreak was first documented early December 2019 in Wuhan, China, and it was not only later till late January of 2020 when the first case in the UK had been traced. The country had done their best to minimize the spread, but when it was too much to handle, the country went into lockdown. On March 23rd, Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced that all social interaction must be stopped and we must stay at home. Some businesses and non-essential shops were closed. Schools and universities too had to be moved online, along with the graduations. Face masks had to be worn on all public transport, and TfL had advised their customers to walk and cycle during their travels where possible to avoid contact with other people. The cases were rising and doubling every day, and by the time the lockdown had started, there was already thousands of cases across the UK. With the worry of the fast-spreading disease, the lockdown had a large effect on the mental health of the public. Being stuck at home and losing the privileges of social interaction with friends and family took a toll on the country. On the Office of National Statistics website, they state that during the pandemic, around 1 in 3 16 to 39-year-olds experienced moderate to severe depressive symptoms during this time. This compared with 1 in 9 before the pandemic. To help liven up the mood of the nation, for a short period, a special clap for our carers started on March 26th at 8 p.m. Every Thursday at 8 p.m, the whole nation stepped outside their homes to clap and cheer for all the frontline and health and social care workers. Coming into June, 3 months into the lockdown, measures began to ease. Non-essential shops were able to reopen on the 15th, but with social distancing rules in place, with a 2-meter distance and, of course, wearing face coverings. The cases since then had continued to rise and fall. On the 5th of November, a second UK month lockdown was implemented. Once that lockdown ended on the 2nd of December, the UK was put into different tiers to help control the spread of the virus in different areas of the country, following specific rules for each tier. London was placed in Tier 2 and very quickly escalated into Tier 3 on the 16th of December and then jumped to Tier 4 that same week. Still in these tight measures, following the rules in our own tiers, the UK continues to fight endlessly against the coronavirus. A new Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine was developed, and the first person to receive the jab was here in the United Kingdom. However, many have lost loved ones to this deadly disease, and coming to the end of this year, it's been told not to mix with other households for the New Year's celebration. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for bringing us that review of our coronavirus year. Can we ask, in terms of schooling, when they go back in 2021, how are the universities instructed to operate now that we are in these 4 tiers?
Yes, well, Giancarlo, it depends on the tier you are living in. Tier 1 is medium alert, Tier 2 is high alert, Tier 3 very high alert, and Tier 4 is stay at home, the very serious one. In Tier 1, it is stated that face-to-face teaching is allowed with staff and students wearing face coverings. Tier 2 and 3, it requires online teaching where possible. However, students in Tier 4, it is expected to have majority of teaching online and have buildings open only for essential workers and students who are required to attend because in-person teaching is essential. Within all tiers, it's required to continue the regular procedures such as social distancing in classrooms, cleaning and sanitizing, having good ventilation, and isolating if symptoms come across. Giancarlo?
Thank you so much once again, Ashley, for joining us this week. And we hope to see you again soon in the new year.
Thank you for having me, Giancarlo. I would just like to say a very happy new year to all our viewers. I'm Ashley, Spirit 2 EBC London correspondent, and we live in interesting times.
Okay, now we are going to our correspondent in Geneva, Switzerland, for an overview of some of the challenges and victories of Europe in 2020. We have Christine Benedicto reports. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Giancarlo. So as we know, Europe in 2020 is marked by the many challenges brought by the pandemic. The World Health Organization, headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, announced that the region had become the epicenter of the pandemic in March. We saw Italy shut down and at the mercy of this uncontrollable virus, and then followed shortly and mainly by its neighbors France and Spain. European countries applauded the sacrifice of their frontliners and closed their schools as they mourned the loss of thousands of people every day. It wasn't until end May to early June 2020 when hospitals started to see a significant improvement in the number of patients and fatalities. But come autumn, the threat of a second wave of the pandemic became more and more apparent, while at the same time, fears grew of potential complications that winter and the flu season would bring. By the month of October 2020, we saw Spain and France reach 1 million of infections each, and Germany, Belgium, and many others tightened their health measures once again. Even Sweden, who'd been boasting of a soft approach against the pandemic until now, began to reconsider its strategy. As the region continued its fight against the pandemic, other issues also resurfaced, like the situation of migrants entering Europe through Greece and other Mediterranean countries. And while a few reminders of the past re-emerged, with France, for example, putting to trial suspects of a major terrorist attack, Europe also celebrated some milestones. We have the example of Emmanuelle Charpentier from France, who became one of the first only female duo to win the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. And Switzerland inaugurated the Canary Tunnel, which would link Europe from the north to the south through the Alps. Europe ends the year with the French President Emmanuel Macron contracting the virus and the threat brought by the virus's which triggered travel bans while countries continue to try and improve their understanding of the virus. In the meantime, as winter cold continues its course, Europeans celebrated the new year with a glimmer of hope with the start of vaccinations across the region. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you so much, Christine, for that in-depth look at Europe throughout the year. We know it's been a challenging year for Europe, but how have the Europeans been celebrating the arrival of the new year?
So celebrations of New Year this year were intimate. Countries with all their restrictions in place people had to adapt to that. We have the example of Switzerland who limited private gatherings to 10 people. Belgium had one close contact allowed only per family, and Germany until now is still under lockdown. So a very close-knit celebration of New Year this year. So very, very different type, but very close-knit celebration. So that's the update on Europe.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us once again, Christine.
Thank you for having me. I'd like to wish everyone, all our viewers, a Happy New Year. Thank you for having me once again. I'm Christine Benedicto from Geneva, Switzerland. We live in interesting times.
Okay, it's time for a break now, but please come back for more ENI UK and Europe edition.
As 2020 reaches its end, we reflect upon the trials and tribulations we have been able to endure. Our only hope is that the coming year will be filled with the blessings you are yearning for, along with our news team here in Australia Oceania to bring you stories filled with faith, love and hope, so we all may remain united as we embrace the new year. On behalf of the EBC News correspondents here in Australia Oceania, we would like to wish everyone all the best as we face 2021. Happy New Year to us all.
Welcome back to this special edition of ENI UK and Europe. I'm Giancarlo Matera, and we have some more interesting stories from around the United Kingdom and Europe this week. Firstly, we go to Germany, where we have Vanessa Gowert, who will bring us an update on how the vaccinations are going over there in Europe. Hello, Vanessa.
Hello, Giancarlo. Thank you for having me. The outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in this year, 2020, had a great impact on all lives of all people around the world. Now, the vaccine has arrived in Europe and people are being vaccinated in the different countries. Starting December 27, 2020, the European Union is to start COVID-19 inoculations. The European Union is carrying out a coordinated vaccination program across its 27 member states to ensure fair access to doses. The decision on who will get priority for the injections is open to the member states, but at the front of the quest are the elderly and healthcare workers treating COVID-19 patients. Today, we start turning the page on a difficult year, the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said. She also said that it is important that people are willing to be vaccinated. The vaccines are safe and they are effective. They are not only a protection for people themselves, but also, of course, for their environment. On December 21, the Commission has given the conditional marketing authorization for the vaccine developed by BioNTech and Pfizer, following European Medicines Agency positive assessment of its safety and efficacy. The European Union's member states made a show of solidarity by waiting for the bloc's regularity board's approval for the vaccine before beginning coordinated national campaigns. All the member states have national healthcare systems, so people will be vaccinated free of charge, but most of them said that they expect the vaccine to reach the general public by spring. Many people are hopeful that vaccinations are the key to society's herd immunity, where enough of the populated is protected from the virus. The EU received 12.5 million doses by the end of the year, with the ultimate goal of reaching 450 million people across its 27 member states next year. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you for reporting to us and giving us the update on how vaccines are going there in Europe. Is it okay if we ask how are the priority lists defined there in Germany as to who will get the vaccines first?
Germany intends to reduce pressure on intensive care beds by prioritizing people with a significantly higher risk, with distribution at first bespoke vaccination centers. The next tier for priority will be those working in key public services, including healthcare and care home staff, and the emergency services. At the forefront are, of course, nurses, doctors, and also people who belong to a risk group, Chancellor Angela Merkel said. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you, Vanessa. Now that the vaccines have started across Europe, have they seen any side effects from being vaccinated?
Yes, there have been side effects. The most common side effects of the vaccine were injection site pain, fatigue, headache, and muscle pain. However, the doctors say that these reactions are only temporary and that they self-resolve within a few days. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, for bringing us that special report today.
I would like to wish everyone a Happy New Year. I'm Vanessa Gawad for Eagle News International, and we live in interesting times.
Okay, now our next correspondent allows us to rediscover some of the many beautiful locations and interesting tips and hints that we have learned about in the year 2020. Joining us is Jasmine Jamora. Hi, Jasmine.
Hello, Giancarlo. Thank you. 2020 was a year where people had to make a lot of lifestyle adjustments. On the other hand, people also got to learn new skills, but also to discover or rediscover amazing spots their city or countries offer. We got to walk. Throughout this year, we were fortunate to showcase some quick tutorials, some traveling gems and artworks from Europe. We got to walk through parks in Germany, but also to learn new cooking skills, from creating autumn-inspired dishes, using new techniques in the kitchen, to preparing German favorite white asparagus. We also got to see different cities in Europe, but also discover artworks and architectural projects that even more highlight the beauty of European landscapes, like Switzerland's. That's a quick tour of our lifestyle reports this year, and there will be many more to come from Europe. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you, Jasmine. It's nice to look back on how our correspondents have shown us around Europe, even through this difficult year. Now there are even more travel restrictions. Are people still allowed to move between European countries?
As of now, European countries have strict entry regulations. Switzerland, for example, has a list of countries for which a quarantine is needed. In France, travelers have to present a negative COVID-19 test and may only enter the country if the journey is considered as essential, unless the country they came from is exempt from the French COVID-19 travel restrictions. Giancarlo.
Thank you, Jasmine, for bringing us that report today.
Thank you for having me, and I'd like to greet everyone a Happy New Year. Reporting from EBC Milan, Italy, I am Jasmine Jamora, and we live in interesting times.
Okay, it's time for another break now, but please come back for more ENI UK and Europe edition.
Hey there, Arnie Aquino here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net25.
Welcome back to our special New Year ENI UK and Europe edition. I'm Giancarlo Matera once again, and we have some more interesting stories from around the United Kingdom and Europe from this past year. Now joining us from Europe, we have Kate Reviews joining us. Hello, Kate. You'll take us again on a tour of Europe. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. So as we enter 2021, ENI UK and Europe has brought you a glimpse of the beautiful sceneries in the different parts of Europe last year. Here is a short recap on that. Europe is a continent which is known for its great weight of history and culture. Aside from its rich culture, this continent is also known for its breathtaking landscapes. One thing that is amazing to see when you visit Europe is how well they have preserved their monuments and buildings that do not only catches one's eyes, but also tells you its past. In every famous corner, you will not only bring home beautiful memories on pictures and videos, but also additional knowledge about the place. If history is not your thing, then Europe has landscapes to offer unto you. From picturesque views from the top of the mountains to its beautiful meadows along famous rivers. And just when you thought you have seen it all, you will be able to discover new hidden places around this continent every day. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you, Kate. So I know this year has been difficult for those of us who like to travel, but what can we expect to see in 2021 with our view from our window?
Well, Europe has 4 seasons, as all may know, and since most of these places were shown in the summer and fall, we still have the rest of winter and spring to show. And aside from that, we will be able to show more of the sunny parts of Europe in the south and the colder parts of Europe in the north.
Okay, thank you so much, Kate, for these wonderful views that we've been seeing throughout this year.
Thank you so much for having me. And we would like to greet everyone a Happy New Year. Reporting from Belgium, I am Kate Rebibis for Eagle News International, and we live in interesting times.
Thank you to all our live reporters today. Now we have a special report from Love and Season here to present and tell us more about what ENI UK and Europe Edition is all about and the team that works behind the scenes. Hello, Love Anne.
Hi, Giancarlo. And first of all, I would like to greet our viewers. Happy New Year and good evening, and the rest of the world, good day. So in this special edition, I think it will be good for our viewers to get to know the team of reporters behind the ENI or Eagle News International edition. So it's been over 6 months when we started our production here in the United Kingdom and Europe through a balanced and impartial reporting. ENI is broadcasted by Eagle News Corporation or EBC through its flagship TV station Net25. Now, EBC is a media company that pioneered all digital broadcasting in the Philippines, which is also where our main headquarters is based in. We are part of a global network of international correspondents, also all volunteers who are reporting for EBC. Now, the correspondents come from the United Kingdom and mainland Europe and Africa, including France, Germany, and Switzerland, all volunteering their time to cover a wide range of topics from current affairs, business to lifestyle, and sports news. Now, since the launch of our weekly telecast in June this year, we have been bringing only the latest news in and around the UK and Europe with the aim of informing, educating, and entertaining our viewers with the quality media content. Now, the unique aspect of our weekly telecast is our last segment, View from a Window. So this is the brainchild of our very first producer and anchor of the show, V. Manuel Sison. Now, the purpose is to showcase the beauty and the uniqueness of the places in the UK and around the different countries of Europe. As you know, there are many popular landmarks and attractions here, which are very unique to our regions. And hopefully our viewers can one day visit them once this pandemic is over. Now, we are grateful for V's contribution to our show, and I'm very fortunate to have worked with her. Now, the impact of the pandemic brought a lot of emotional, mental, and even physical strain in people's lives amidst the varying lengths of restrictions and lockdowns all over the world. Social contacts, as we know, became limited. And for some, it's almost impossible. So making sacrifices for the sake of protecting ourselves and our loved ones and to help control the spread of the virus. Now, internet has also become a must for meetings, not just for businesses, but even for family and friends. Now, despite these challenging times, we are still able to deliver our weekly telecasts to bring you breaking news and up-to-date stories. In our lifestyle segment, we have featured so far stories about that ranges from tributes to frontliners, people who are showing heroic acts of kindness, and even outreach programs done within local communities, and even the healthcare sectors, just so that people can support the people in these times of pandemic. And this is being done by this global church, Christian church, the Iglesia Ni Cristo, or Church of Christ. Now, 2020 was indeed an extraordinary year, Giancarlo, as we know. And in this new year that we have just started, we look forward to continuing to deliver our viewers the news that really matters. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you so much, Lavan, for that overview. It really has been a very interesting year. What kind of content will our viewers look forward to and expect to see in the new year to come?
Well, Giancarlo, we would like to actually see, like our viewers, to see that our show is constantly evolving with its time. So So they will be able to see more news anchors and more correspondents who will be contributing to our show from the UK and from Europe. And and also there will be a new segment that we have in mind and that we're hoping that everyone can relate to. So I can't really give too much away, as you know, Giancarlo, but we would like to showcase also the uniqueness of our regions because of our multi-language aspect of the European region. So that is all really that I can share with you at this moment.
Okay, thank you so much, Lavan, for bringing us that report today.
Thank you, Giancarlo. I would like to greet once again all of our viewers. A very happy New Year. This is Love and Season and reporting from London, United Kingdom. We live in interesting times.
Okay, that's it for our program this week. As we welcome in the new year, we look forward to bringing you more news that matters from our EBC teams of Europe and the United Kingdom. We wish all our viewers a very happy new year. We hope you also stay safe and keep positive as we continue to bring you new stories and updates every week. From London, United Kingdom, I'm Giancarlo Matera, and we live in interesting times.
From the EBC correspondents here in the United Kingdom, continental Europe, Russia, the Mediterranean, and Africa, we send our warmest greetings to the Executive Minister of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, and all the members of the Church of Christ around the world.
Hoes Neues Jahr.
Bonne année.
Buon anno.
Feliz Año Nuevo.
Happy New Year!